What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Yes, I am well aware my hair is ridiculously long, but I am determined not to get it cut until lockdown is over. So in this next episode, I had the pleasure in sitting down with 2 times CrossFit Games teens athlete from the UK, Reece Mitchell. Reece is a really cool guy and seems like he's got a very sensible head on a set of very young shoulders. So without further ado, let's dive straight into it and see what Reece has got to say.
So for everyone out there who doesn't know who I'm speaking today, this is Reece Mitchell, 2 times CrossFit Games teens athlete. That's a mouthful. Good to have you on.
Good to be here, mate. Asking me to come on.
Yeah, no worries at all. So how old are you now, by the way, Reece?
So I'm 18 now. I turned 18 in December.
Wow, still very young, mate, very old. We'll dive right back to the early years then. And how old was you when you started CrossFit, and how did you get into it?
So I started CrossFit when I was 13. To be honest, for the first year of doing CrossFit, I didn't really know I was doing CrossFit. I was just going to the circuit once a week in a gym by ours, which was CrossFit. Just having a mess about, really. My uncle actually got me into it because I put a bit of weight on. And, you know yourself, when you're a teenager, you're a bit insecure about things. And that was always one of my insecurities. I was a little bit chubby. And I didn't want to be that kid who was fat. I wanted to be that kid who looked good and was like, oh, yeah, when you change the room, everyone like, look like he's a big boy, you know what I mean? Yeah, that sort of stuff. So I did CrossFit for about a year, stopped for 6 months, and then restarted in the middle of 2016. And that was when my journey started, really. And
was you kind of, did you have like a lot of potential when you first started? Like, did coaches kind of go, wow, this guy's going to be, he's going to be good?
Do you know what, mate? You know, for the first year in 2015, no, not really. Because I was one of them people who go in the gym. I wasn't really interested in what was going on. I just wanted to go as hard as I possibly can. So I was really moving really, really bad, just lifting weights I shouldn't have been lifting, just being that crazy kid, basically. And it wasn't really until like a dialed in that they thought, oh, you do something in this sport, you know.
That's cool, because normally I've spoken to a lot of people and they've always had like a background in something where that's kind of transitioned across, and someone's gone, actually, you'll be quite good at CrossFit. And it's like quite refreshing to hear someone say, actually, no, I want that good. I just kind of, I've worked my bollocks off and
yeah. Of course, there's some sort of genetics involved in being a games athlete and just being a CrossFit athlete in general. But I think it depends on each athlete. Some athletes don't really show potential until years into their journey. Some show it right at the start. I think if you have got good genetics and you are willing to work hard, then you have got a really good chance within this concept in this sport.
Yeah, 100%. And when did you kind of believe yourself that it was like possible to make it to the CrossFit Games? When did that kind of come into your mind?
This is sort of a weird story, to be honest. So I actually did my first competition in 2016. I did the British Teen Championships down in Brighton. Big shout out to that comp. I helped them out a lot now with like programming, and I run the training days. But yeah, that was my first ever comp, and I was 14 against 18-year-olds, because it was like a 14 to 18 division when it first started. And I finished third. That was sort of like a smack on the head to me. Well, I'm not bad at this. I'm all right at this. Because I wasn't actually sure, because I was only competing against people in my gym.
Yeah.
And I went there and was like this young kid who was like playing with the big boys at the time, you know. And then I did the Battle of Beast, which is now European champs.
Okay. I
won that in the teens division at the end of 2016. And then I was just like, okay, then obviously I knew about the CrossFit Games, the teens division, etc. I was like, okay, let's see how this open goes. Let's just work as hard as we possibly can and try and aim to be in the top 200 to make the online qualifier. And then obviously I won the Open in 2017, which was like a big, massive, well, what's going on here, you know? That was sort of when I was okay, I can do okay at this.
Yeah. And what was it like then when you kind of actually made it to the games? Because I spoke to your friend Dallin the other day, and he was saying how crazy the actual experience it was. How did you find it then when you kind of actually arrived there?
So 2019 was completely different, but the first year, 2017, I was very naive. I was quite starstruck, to be honest. All these athletes are walking around, Matt Fraser's over there warming up next to me, and it was a little bit hard because like you just like I've been watching these people for 2 years and now they're next to me.
Yeah.
They're warming up next to me, but we're all wearing the same gear. It was quite overwhelming, should we say?
Yeah,
I found it quite overwhelming. And at 2017 for me, it was my best year, obviously, because obviously a podium, but it wasn't really as enjoyable as I would have imagined or hoped, just because obviously I got injured and stuff. But just the whole experience is a bit too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah, especially for kind of such a young age as well.
15.
So what changed then heading into the 2019 games then? Did you kind of have a different mindset with just more experience?
So I started working with Emma Hackett, who's works on Limitless Coaching. She's a mental performance coach. We started working together at the end of 2017 in November. And we've done so much work just to be able to build a foundation of mindset and to build a growth mindset by just doing certain things, having morning routines and doing things in training. I do loads, like I have my own little things. I do lots of different rituals that help me. And it was just dialing in them that made 2019 a little bit better. And I think it was also going there with the goal of fact that obviously I'm going there to try and win the CrossFit Games, but also I'm going there with to enjoy the experience, take it all in at the CrossFit Games, you know. And that really helped me that year. I had an amazing time. Don't get me wrong, the result wasn't what I wanted, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. But the whole experience itself, I had a great time and really enjoyed every part of it.
Yeah, I bet. So I was just going to ask you then some of your highlights and some of your lows. You just mentioned then it obviously didn't quite go as you hoped. So let's start with kind of the negatives from it first. So what do you feel kind of didn't go your way?
So the first day of the CrossFit Games was probably the best day competing I've ever had. I had 2 seconds and a third, and I got down into a race he didn't really want to go into on that first day. So that was really, really good. And the first event, the second day, it was a sprint workout. It was 90 feet handstand walk, 35 calorie bike, 90 feet sandbag carry. I went up marathon on the bike. I think I did 35 calories in like 30 odd seconds, something stupid. And I got off the bike, and I've never used a 100 kilo, no, a 92.5 kilo sandbag. I'd never used a sandbag at that weight. And to be honest, it shouldn't have been as heavy as it felt. Because in training, that's all day, you know what I mean? But just because of the adrenaline and I went a little bit too fast, I literally walked one length with it and then couldn't pick it back up. And I could just see everyone finishing ahead of me, and I ended up finishing last in that event. And then when you get a last place, because obviously it's about being consistent across the board, it's really, really hard to fight back from, you know. Yeah,
I bet. But I guess that is like one hell of a lesson you learn. I guess obviously not the nicest way to learn it, but I bet you won't be making that mistake again.
Although that will be a big learning point in my career, shall we say? And I think it was, because to be honest, for me it was just about how I dealt with after that. So making sure I kept my head together, making sure I still dialed in on everything I was doing, and then completed the CrossFit Games on a high, which I did do. Obviously I had a little bit of a knock again the last day, but the events went as planned after that, which was a win in itself.
And I guess to be learning these kind of valuable competition lessons now, whilst you're so young, will just kind of like reap the benefits later on. Because obviously you've got these kind of more seasoned athletes making mistakes at competitions and stuff, but they're already like in their mid-20s kind of thing. So for you to be like dealing with that now is obviously going to kind of set you clearly on the right path.
I think, as I said, as my mindset coach always says to me, you've got an experience that a lot of athletes would like. I've been at games twice as a teenager, so I've been there. I've dealt with that experience. So if it takes me 2-3 years to get back there, I've had that experience. I'm more experienced than any of the rookies who are coming in, because I've been twice before, you know. Yeah,
100%. And moving on then to the highlights of your kind of 2019 or your kind of games experience as a whole, what would you say some of the highlights of the experience were?
To be honest, it was just getting back to the games in 2019. 2018, I had quite a severe injury, to be honest. I tore my glute in the first event of the games in 2017. Oh, wow. And then I had loads of repercussions from that. Like I was getting crazy sciatica from where the part of the glute where I'd injured was pushing against the sciatic nerve.
Okay.
And that gave me problems for maybe 9 months.
Sciatica's no joke as well.
No joke, man, no joke. And I think to come back after that year, knowing that all the hard work and all the work that I put in paid off.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that was just the highlight, basically.
That's awesome. So, did any particular athletes kind of leave you starstruck, or did you kind of get used to it after a while?
Oh no, you get used to it after a while, man. And I think, you know what? It wasn't so much that I was starstruck, but it was just starstruck that I've been watching them on videos for years, and then they're just there, and they're not as big as you think. They're like just a normal person. It was that at first, but I think it was more Rich Froning, who's always been at Ardler, man, since the very start.
Yeah.
And meeting him was a good experience at first. Then after that, you just become accustomed to it, you know.
100%. So moving on then from the games, then obviously, would you say your team career's now obviously come to an end?
Yeah.
You're kind of making that transition into the elite individuals.
Yeah.
Have you competed at Lowlands? Is that correct?
Yeah, but that wasn't the teams division. That wasn't at the. That wasn't the adults.
Oh, okay. So what's your plan then with kind of migrating over to the individuals? Have you got your eyes set on any particular sanctioned events or a goal?
This is my goal now. I want longevity in the sport. So I took a big step back in 2019. I was working with James Jelsey for about 7 months, just trying to correct the way I move.
Yeah.
If I carried on the way I was carrying on, I was basically going for a burnout with a bad injury, because I had issues with my motor recruitment with the way I move, and it was like really overusing one side, and that was causing a lot of problems for me lifting, etc. So from the games up until March this year, I literally hadn't touched the barbell.
Okay.
I was literally lunging my head off, doing all corrective work for 7 months, and that's paid off dividends now leading up into the season. 2021 season, I'm going to go 2 sanctionals. I'm going to try and do 2 sanctionals individual, and then go 1 team.
Okay. Have you got your eyes on any particular sanctional event?
I want to do strength and depth in England, just because it's an English comp, and I'd like to do one in America, maybe like the West Coast Classic or something in the States.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And you just mentioned then you'd like to do a team event. Have you got kind of any teammates in mind?
So I am going to be joining with JST soon, working with Steve, and then hopefully I'll end up on one of their teams.
Nice. That's one to look out for then. So you mentioned earlier you did the Dubai qualifier.
Yeah.
Is that for?
That's for the online. So at the moment, Dubai have just issued an online qualifier, just like a competition that workouts every week for 3 weeks. Just basically they have money. I think it was because they have money spare, so there's just a lot of prize money. And I'm still in the teens for this because it's up to 18, and it's $3,000 prize money. So it's minimal equipment, and I was thinking, well, I'd like to battle it out for $3,000, so that's going to be kind of fun. And we got Darwin in it, so that's going to be a good race.
Yeah, 100%. And was that the first workout you did today?
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
Okay, and how many is there?
There's 3, so one gets released every Friday for the next 3 weeks.
Okay. 1 week. Checking out that leaderboard then.
That was kind of that was a fun workout, to be honest. It was just all about basically holding on, sucking up, and just riding the pain, shall we say.
Awesome. And speaking about obviously going to the elite individuals, is there any particular athletes you would you want to line up against, or you'd love to go head to head with? Obviously, you got the obvious choice in that Matt Fraser and that. But
I'd like to be on a competition floor with David Shirunki. I don't know, it's just something something special about David. He's just he's one of the most chilled and relaxed person I've ever seen on a competition floor. Everything's just so relaxed. Mate, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm speaking to him tomorrow actually, so I'm like really looking forward to that. He seems such a cool dude.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. Amazing.
So obviously we spoke about your experience at the games. What do you think about this year and Dave Castro obviously announcing that he's going to cut the field dramatically to kind of only 20 individuals and the 10 sanctional winners? And obviously a lot of people are now missing out on the space. You've probably got quite a lot of friends in the teen category that obviously aren't going this year as well. What do you think about all that?
So my heart's out to all the teenage and age group athletes, because I know how hard everyone has worked. Yeah. And likewise to the individual athletes who have made it, and they're not going to be going either. It's quite sad, really, that this is the case, but it's one of them. It's a global pandemic. There's going to be no competition otherwise. So I think everyone would still want to see the big boys battle it out on the floor, and I think what Dave Castro is doing is a great move.
Yeah.
So I'm not agreeing with it, and I think it's wrong that either way they cut the field, etc. But it was either cut everyone and have no entertainment, or cut some and still have a bit of entertainment in the summer.
Exactly, and like obviously during this weird lockdown period, I think they need something to watch. You know what I mean? All these sports are being cancelled. If there's the potential of 20 of the top guys going head to head, then it's kind of a no-brainer. It's just a shame, obviously, you've got Zach and everyone who are missing out.
Yeah, all them guys, man, especially Zach with it being his first year. But
yeah.
He did it this year, so why can't he do it again? You know.
Exactly, and when I spoke to him, his attitude was absolutely unbelievable. He was like, "Well, I'm just going to come back even bigger and better next year and like blow everyone away." So it's like, if that's what kind of mindset you get, that is unreal.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously the rest of the season is obviously kind of a blowout already. But how is well, firstly, do you have any plans is there any events that are happening towards the end of the year, or is kind of 2020 cancelled now for you?
So to be honest, mate, I'm moving to Dubai to coach.
Oh wow.
I was due to go in March. I'm moving to coaching Inner Fight, where Callum Bosmans is.
Okay.
I was due to go there in March. This has been in the pipeline for a couple of years. It's always been a dream of mine. And obviously, I have a career path in coaching too, as it's something I'm very, very passionate about. Obviously, as well as my athletic career. And obviously, we know it as an athlete now, it's very, very hard to make money. Sponsors are not throwing money at athletes. It's very, very hard to live. And I think, obviously, I'm so passionate about CrossFit, the concept, as well as the sport, and Greg Glassman's model, etc. So it's a no-brainer for me. But there's not really enough money over here to go and stay over here and coach. And there's a lot of money over there, a great lifestyle, and a way for me to grow as an athlete. So as soon as Dubai start issuing visas to non-residents, I'm over there, which we are thinking is going to be July.
Awesome.
And competition-wise, I had no plans for the season whatsoever this year. I just want to focus on my weaknesses and really come back. I want to go in the adults division as a competitor, you know, and I want longevity in this concept. I don't want to be one of them people you've seen it in the past year. Some of the old teenagers, where are they now? You know, apart from Haley Adams, because they've tried to rush it.
Yeah, I did see one. I don't know who it was. It was an American.
George.
Yeah, he's had to retire already. Was it?
Oh no, that was Angelo.
Oh wow, and he wasn't that old, was he?
No, he was a year older than me.
Wow, yeah. So longevity is key. So building that kind of base foundation.
They say that your peak's probably like 24, 25 in this sport, and that's still 8 years away from me, you know.
Yeah, there's no rush.
I want to be there when I peak, and I've got to make sure I do everything right, train smart.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, you just mentioned then this obviously the whole lockdown thing going on at the minute, and you've been doing the Dubai qualifiers. But how has training been for you during lockdown? Have you got like your own gym set up at home?
So I've got equipment at home, and also my nan cleans for a rich guy who's got an apartment with basically a full kitted out gym that he doesn't use. So I can go in there and use that most of the week, which is nice. On my own, of course, social distancing, etc. Yeah, my training's been very, very nice, mate, to be honest. I needed this lockdown. I'm going to tell you why now. I got caught up a little bit in partying with my friends from Liverpool. I'm a Scouser. My friend partying. And I said to myself that after the games, I was going to allow myself to be a teenager for a little while, just because I don't want to look back in 20 years' time. I've been in the gym for 5 years, man, away from everything. Thinking, did I not really live my teenagehood? So while I was doing all my collective work, I allowed myself to go out and party. But that started to become a little bit too much. So this lockdown has sort of like got me back down, because I got myself dialed back in a bit. It's kind of been nice, you know.
Yeah, I see. I've like been nursing a bad knee for like the past 4 or 5 months, and every time I was going down the CrossFit box, I was just stressing out because I couldn't do what everyone else was doing. So for me, this lockdown period, not having a heavy barbell at home, it's been a godsend. I've just been working on kind of like fitness, getting out on the bike and stuff, and I know it's not for everyone. Like for me personally and selfishly, it's obviously paid dividends, and it sounds like the same thing with you.
I think everyone's gonna have a life lesson from this, and I think people are going to appreciate things more. Have probably more self-gratitude, and I think it's going to be nice when things do eventually go back to normal, of how much better the world is.
Yeah, like obviously the first couple of weeks, everyone just seemed to be like kind of going into meltdown, but then as everyone was kind of taking a step back, and everyone's like, actually, like this is probably going to turn out into like a positive thing.
About it, say if you've got a 50-year-old woman, yeah, that's 50 years of habits. 50 years of habits and rituals, and you're taking them away. That's hard for people to digest. Like, it really is. It's because of our brain, the way our brain's wired. That's hard for people to digest, you know.
It's almost like going cold turkey, isn't it? From like,
it's going cold turkey. It is definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just set up to fail.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting when everything reopens. But yeah, I definitely think people will take a lot of positives from this and kind of change the way they approach like just life in general, communication, everything. I think it's going to, well, fingers crossed, it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, I think what we're going to notice though is a lot of CrossFit boxes will go under during this time, which is quite sad really, because I'm born and bred CrossFit, both the concept and the sport side of it. But because it's one of them, people pay memberships, don't they?
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because obviously, I think the first few months everyone's kind of like, yeah, we're going to support you, like we're not going to cancel the membership. But then obviously, no one's predicting it to go on as long as what we thought it would. And obviously, everyone's in difficult positions with not being on full pay and stuff. And you've got to prioritise. So like, yeah, unfortunately, I think a few may close, but we'll see.
Sad, very sad, man. You know, but hopefully my box in Liverpool stays open.
yeah. Fingers crossed mine will as well, because I don't know what I'll do about it. No, I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's been awesome to chat to you. You seem like you've got a very sensible head on very young shoulders.
Thank you very much, my friend. It's lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what your journey into the individuals looks like then.
Hopefully so.
Strength and depth, yeah. Strength and depth next. I'll be there.
Definitely.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate talking to you.
Always, man. See ya. Bye.
Cheers.